Hello everyone and welcome to another flight in Flight Simulator 2024. Fenix just released the Airbus A320 family for Flight Sim 2024 in experimental stage, of course, but I think they are good enough to fly. So today we are going to take the A319 for a spin. We are going to do a 2-hour flight from Frankfurt to Dubrovnik, Croatia. The Frankfurt scenery that we have today is the Asobo handcrafted scenery. If you've seen in our last flight, we had custom scenery for Frankfurt Airport, and as soon as we landed here, it was wreaking all kinds of havoc on our system, and it was just a stuttery mess. So today we are using the default one. All right. We are not on the VATSIM network, of course. I think vPilot is now compatible with FS 2024, but I'm just not yet confident in the simulator itself to want to take a flight on VATSIM yet. So I think I'll hold off on flying online until at least we can do some download some scenery for offline usage, because done a couple of flights and stranger things have happened. For example, in one of my flights in the A330, I landed at an airport and there were no terminal buildings, despite me having flown from there, and everything was showing just fine. So sometimes models don't stream in, and no matter how long you stay at the airport, nothing just comes. I guess that's server issues, but hopefully they get fixed very soon. Okay, enough chit chat. Let's set up our flight. Alright, feels good to be in a Fenix aircraft. The textures are just so awesome. Even the sounds, and this is of course a completely offline aircraft, so really nice. Okay, self-test is in progress. We can of course import our flight plan. One thing with the Fenix aircrafts, of course, and this is a known bug to Fenix as well, is that sometimes the EFB you get to click multiple times in order to get the option to work. I think that is definitely something that they are working to fix, but right now I think we are just going to have to put up with it. Okay, gonna go ground services. Now we're gonna go mass and balance, of course, and we are gonna want to load the aircraft right away using GSX, and there we have it.
Refueling truck is on its way.
Okay. While that is happening, let's quickly go through our operational flight plan. I have to say, I'm not a fan of this flight plan being broken up like this. I would much rather have like one long document that I can scroll through. But anyways, what we might also want to do is to just load it up on our Navigraph app on the default EFB. I'm gonna make this horizontal medium, and then I am going to add the Navigraph app on the favorites panel. Then I am going to import our flight plan from SimBrief onto here.
Fuel truck is in position.
And then I'm going to open our operational flight plan.
Truck arrives and asks to do it.
Okay, there we have it. So we are Croatian 27 Hotel from Frankfurt to Dubrovnik. Cost index today 8, cruising altitude flight level 370 initially, and then we're going to have a step climb at Radis to flight level 390. Block fuel for today is, let's see here, 6,252 kilos of fuel. And then in terms of the routing, we are going to take off from runway 07 right, but as you can see, it's not used. I think people have switched from 7 right to 7 center. I was going to change that right away. And then we are going to take off depart onto the Cindy 2 Delta departure, and then Lampu, Nombo, and then all the way up to our arrival via Nera to Zulu for runway 11 into Dubrovnik. Okay, then passengers, as we've seen, 89, cargo 1.3 tons, that gives us a payload of 8.5 tons. Zero fuel weight is going to be, of course, 50.4 tons. That's going to give us a takeoff weight roughly 56.4 tons. Okay, then this just a list of our waypoints. If we have a look at the weather, Frankfurt, winds right now 060 degrees 5 knots, variable of course between 30 and 90. Cavoke conditions, temperature 5 degrees, so very cold. QNH 1031. Okay, then that reminds me then that, you know, with this very cold weather, we are going to want to switch on the APU. But maybe before that, we are going to do an APU fire test, because that is, of course, one of the best things about the Fenix, is that you can test the APU and the engines and have a look at the ECAM message as well. So master switch for the APU on, and then APU start. Then while we are here, we might as well do the engine fire test for engine number 1 and engine number 2, of course. Okay, very nice. All right, then we continue with our weather briefing. Dubrovnik, we are 2 hours away. I expect the weather to change, of course, by the time we get there. Right now we do have a few clouds. Winds are very high actually, variable and 17 knots, gusting 28, and few clouds at 5,000. Temperature there is 13 degrees, a little bit warmer than Frankfurt. QNH 1016. But we're going to have a look at this a little bit later on when we are close to arrival. Okay, seems like boarding is requested, but there is no boarding at the moment. I'm not sure why. We have catering services just completed now. Perhaps okay, boarding is actually going to start once the refueling is completed. That is well in order then. Okay, we have pretty much done our weather briefing. That means we can import our flight information into the FMC as well, but just want to check our database that we have the latest nav database up to 25 December, so that is good. Okay, then we go ATSU, AOC menu, and FlightNet. Going to request that. APU
Boarding
is
requested.
available and boarding is requested. We are going to switch on the APU bleed. Okay, there we have it. Departure Frankfurt to Dubrovnik, and our alternate today is St. Jerome Airport nearby. And then they're going to go to the init and request our route as well. Our call sign is of course Croatia. Let's see here. 27 Hotel. Cost index today we said that it is it 8? Yes, it is 8. Cruising altitude initially flight level 370. That's going to have a step climb, of course, we're going to enter later, and then we are going to request our wind information. Okay, there we have it. So in it B, did we get our preliminary load sheet? Let's see, received messages, load sheet, of course we have it, and there we have it. It says that boarding is requested, but I can't hear. Okay.
Passengers boarding started.
Thank you for observing this policy.
Okay, so 0 fuel weight 50.3, and then 0 fuel weight CG is, let's see, 26.3. Block fuel, we said that it is block fuel 6.24. Okay, 6.2. And takeoff weight 56.4, 56.3. I think we are going to accept that for now. We're going to, of course, update it when we get the final load sheet. Hopefully things are going to be accurate to the T. Okay, contingency fuel 0.5, and then alternate is 1.1.
Hello.
Final reserve 1.0. Minimum destination fuel on board is 2.1. That is correct. Average wind component is a tailwind of 4 knots. I wonder if we can enter that. Doesn't want. Actually never wants to enter the average wind component, but that is fine. Then we said that departure is going to be on runway 07 center. That's where we changed it to, and it's still going to be on the Cindy 2 Delta. So Cindy 2 Delta, insert that, and then our arrival into Dubrovnik is going to be on the ILS 11.
Hello.
We're gonna go ILS Zulu. Can I go ILS Zulu? Let's see. Yeah, ILS Zulu is gonna be good because it's going to be a straight-in landing. So ILS Zulu runway 11 via the Nera to Zulu. So Nera to Zulu, insert that. That's going to be a straight takeoff, immediate right hand turn,
Cabin crew, boarding is now complete.
and
Any
then
ground crew
continue
leave the aircraft.
straight all the way, and then Nera, and then straight in landing. While we are here, we said that we do have a step climb at Radiz. If we can just find that. Here it is, Radiz, step altitude, and altitude is going to be flight level 390 at Radiz. And we're going to insert that, and now we should be able to see it in here as well. Top of climb, step climb is there after Radiz. Okay, then we are going to go to our secondary flight plan. We're going to start off with copy active, and we are going to create a waypoint that is 25 miles out, and we are going to hold. We are just going to call that Frankfurt 1 X-ray. Going to insert it there, and it's going to be based on runway 07 center. So Echo Delta Delta Foxtrot, runway 07 center. That one has got a bearing of 066 and 25 miles. Then going to insert it in here. There we have it, straight out, and then we are going to hold there. Going to go computer the hold and return. There is the hold inserted, and then after that we are going to come back here, of course, on the runway. We're going to go ILS 07 center, X-ray 07 center, no star, and we are good to go. We are going to insert those as well under fix info. 1 X-ray, and there we have it. And with that we are going to at least be able to see it, and there it is. Okay, with that, we have that out of the way. We are pretty much ready. So let's do our checklists. We can do the preliminary cockpit preparation checklist. Gear spins and covers are removed. Fuel quantity is 6,240. APU bleed is on, by the way, so that is good. And then 8 gears are set to nav. Let's just check here. Nav, barometers, need to set that. What is the weather at the moment in Frankfurt? Let's see, META information, QNH 1020. There we have it, set everywhere. Okay, and with that, cockpit preparation checklist is complete. Now we are going to update the init-B information based on the final load sheet which we have received. We said we see that we have a company message, and let's see now. Load sheet, zero fuel weight 50.4 now, and zero fuel weight center of gravity is 26.3, which is the same. What happened there? 50.4, 26.3. Block fuel still 6.2. 56.4 is the takeoff weight. That is the same one we have here. So now everything is working fine. By the way, there is a print here, but this doesn't print to the aircraft printer, but rather onto whatever printer you have installed on your computer. I would much rather have it print to the aircraft printer here like it does on the fly-by-wire. I hope they are working on that. Okay, now with that we are going to do our takeoff performance calculation, and with that we have a takeoff performance calculator, of course. Runway 07 center is what we are going to take off from. We're going to sync up the weights from the final load sheet, weather as well, and calculate 142, 142, 146, flex 68, 1 plus F config up 1.5. And do we have any intersection information here? If it is going to work today, we do have a couple of options available. Let me quickly check on the chart. Let's see, 07 center now. We are here. If we can take off from, let's see, If we don't have to go all the way, we can take off maybe from, let's say, Lima 16. That could be nice. So if we take Lima 16 and then calculate that, that's now 131, 131, 135, flaps 1, flex 68. That is good. 131, 131, 135. 131, 131, 135, and it is config 1. Tunable horizontal stabilizer is, we said, is up 1.4. Was it 1.5? And there we have it, flex 68. Alright, that is pretty much done. We of course want to have a look at the chart as well for the departure. Cindy to Delta, we take off and then we do a quick right hand turn and then back all the way to Cindy. That is all good. Initial climb clearance is 4,000 feet, which is what we are going to set there. Okay, that all seems to be in order, and with that we are pretty much ready to go. Let's do our before startup checklist. Parking brakes, set, and then takeoff speed and thrust are calculated. 131, 131, 135, flex 68, config 1, up 1.5. Windows are closed, and the beacon light, we are going to switch it on now by switching off the external power and then beacon light on. And before startup checklist is complete. Feels so good to be in a Fenix aircraft. It is of course the best in the business. Really no competition in my eyes. Imagine if they made an aircraft with this much
Hello,
detail.
Captain, we are ready for pushback.
Let's say, for example, if they did the A330 or they did the A350 or the A380 to this detail, they can really just take all my money. Really, really good.
Departure check completed. IPAS being inserted.
Tag is attached, and with that we are pretty much ready to go. We are going to have to do nose right. Continue to push back. That's going to be nose right.
Release parking brakes.
Parking brake is
Commencing
released.
push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Okay, transponder set to 2000, VHF2, we're going to go 1215, that is all good, and we're going to listen to both of them. Okay, pushback. Really, really good aircraft, the Fenix. There is just no competition. Absolutely fantastic. And you can imagine that this is in experimental stage still. Once they polish this thing for FS 2024, it's pretty much over for all the Airbus A320s around. Or at least in my opinion. Okay, we are going to start engines, starting sequence 2 and then 1, start engine 1, 2.
Set parking brakes.
Parking brake is set.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
There we have engine number 2 starting. We have got
Please observe the cabin crew member closest to you as we are about to demonstrate the safety features of
AI
our
aircraft
Airbus
waiting on the
A319.
taxiway.
Thank you.
And there we have one spinning around the terminal there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard.
One of the things that you dare not ask questions in Flight
Please
Simulator.
pay attention to illuminated signs and crew instructions, including the following safety procedures. The safety card found in your seat
Okay,
pocket
engine number 2 is
contains
available. Start
important
engine number 1
information
and
about exit
disconnect the
routes,
tug.
oxygen masks,
Cockpit to ground.
life
We have a good
jackets,
engine start.
and
You can
brace
disconnect.
position.
Unlocking
Must
gear.
adopt if you hear brace, brace. There are 8
Okay,
emergency
the
exits.
spoilers, set
Cabin
auto
crew
brake
are
to
now
max,
pointing out the exits nearest
and
you.
then
Please be
flaps
aware
1
that
for
your nearest
takeoff.
usable exit may
Weather
be
radar is
behind
going
you.
to come on, of
Emergency
course.
lighting will guide
Still
you
doesn't
to an
work,
exit. In an emergency,
but
leave
I haven't
all
been able to
baggage
get it
on
to
board.
work in the
Your seatbelt
A330
is
either
fastened, adjusted,
for some
and
reason.
released as
But
shown.
there is a navigation display,
If
works
asked when
here,
the
but
seatbelt signs
also
we
not
recommend
on
that you keep
the
it fastened at all
A330.
times.
Don't know what on
If
earth is
the
going
air
on
supply
there.
fails, masks will drop
Engine
from
number 1
above
is
you.
available.
Pull a
Tow
mask
truck
towards
disconnected.
Ignition switch
Bypass
can
pin
go back
removed.
to normal and we
Over
can
your
switch
nose
off the
now.
ADU.
Left is clear, right is clear.
Wing
Hold
light
the
can
mask
already
in
come
place.
on.
With the strap, pull on each side to
And
adjust.
with that we can do the
Put
after
on
startup
your own
checklist.
mask
Anti-ice
before
is not
helping
required.
others.
ECAM
If you land on
status
water, take a
normal.
life jacket from under your
Pitch
seat.
trim, we said
Remove
that
from
it
the
needs to be
pouch and put it over your head.
1.5
Pass the
up.
tapes around your waist and click together. Pull the strap to adjust. Do not inflate the life jacket inside
1.5
the aircraft. When outside,
up.
inflate it by pulling the top.
That is set.
If it
And
fails to
then
inflate or needs topping up, blow into this tube. There is a light
runner trim
and whistle
is
for
set
attracting
to
attention.
neutral and after start
Cabin crew
checklist
can
is
assist you
complete.
with life jackets for children. Your tray table must now be stowed. Armrests
And with
down,
that we are pretty
window
much
blinds
done.
open, and
Tag is
seatbelt
disconnected.
fastened. Further
The
information regarding your
ground
safety
crew
on
is
board
gone,
can be
and
found
with
in
that
the
we
in-flight
are pretty
magazine.
much ready to go.
We hope you
We
have a
said
great
that we are
flight.
going to take off from Lima 16 on departure. We said Lima 16, didn't we? On the departure performance, Lima 16, of course. So let's see how we're going to go. Taxi Lima 16. So here we go. We go, and then we go November 3, and then we go Lima, and then Lima 16. Okay. And with that, we are pretty much ready to go. So parking brakes off, taxi light on, runway turn off light on as well. This aircraft of course refuses to move, so we are just going to go through it. Believe we have all our takeoff configuration in order. That is normal. Cabin will of course do their own preparation. We are going to get onto Lima, and then once we get onto it, then we can do the taxi checklist. So far so good. You really have no idea how good it is to how good I feel to be back in the Fenix aircraft. Really my favorite aircraft in the simulator. Okay, Then we make a right here. Yeah, don't ask any questions, just keep it moving. Okay, that's Lima coming up on our right hand side, or up in front of us. We're going to take a right hand turn, clear left side, clear right side. Now I did set up or I did tweak the control curves for the ailerons and the elevators according to Fenix's recommendation for FS 2020. I hope it will be as good.
Hi, Captain. The cabin is now secure for takeoff.
Thank you. I hope it will be as good on FS 2024 as well, or as accurate or the same. Because having to relearn the control sensitivity is also one of those things that are just really annoying. Okay, there we go. For default scenery, this is very well detailed as well. Frankfurt here looks absolutely fantastic. Look at that. Okay, we can do the taxi checklist. Taxi checklist, flight controls. Let's check that. Ailerons, full left, full right, neutral. Elevators, full down, full up, and then rudder pedals, full left, full right, neutral. Flight control check is completed. Flap setting 1+F for takeoff. Radar and predictive wind shear is on. Engine mode selector is norm. ICA memo, takeoff no blue. Taxi checklist complete. Alright, Lima 16, still far out. Man, this looks really good. This looks really good. This simulator has a lot of potential in my opinion. If you can keep the performance this way, with all of the traffic and all of the activities happening at the airport, and then we are able to download textures for offline usage like in FS 2020, this is going to be absolutely fantastic simulator. Much better compared to FS 2020, at least in the performance aspect. Still no support for an AMD FSR 3 for some reason. There is also no driver for the optimization of FS 2024 as far as I'm concerned for AMD users. The simulator isn't even recognized by the Adrenaline Edition software, so I'm hoping that they are going to fix that in the next update. Clear left side, clear right side. Good. The route that we are flying today is of course one of the routes that Croatian Airlines flies. That is Frankfurt to Dubrovnik, and they fly the A319 as well. And the call sign that we are using today is one of the flights that they did today, or was it yesterday, from here to Dubrovnik as well. So this is an emulation of a real-world flight that we are doing today. ATR for Alaska parked over there. Don't know what it is doing here. I doubt that they would fly an ATR all the way from, I believe, America. I believe it should be a US airline all the way to Frankfurt. The Asobo ATR, of course, is one of the aircrafts that I really wanted to fly, but that thing is riddled with so many bugs, I ended up giving up on it. I hope that they are going to update it, or they have updated it for FS 2024, because the amount of bugs that I had were just, in my opinion, unbearable, especially coming from an aircraft like this. And you switch on something and it doesn't appear to work. It just really pisses me off. And it is not because it's not simulated, it's just that sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, Lima 15. And Lima 16 is not coming up on our left hand side. Going to have to make a left here and a hold short and wait for that 777 to take off. We are going to hold here. Parking brake is set, and there is a 777 that doesn't rotate and just lifts off the runway. Interesting what these AI aircrafts do. Okay, lineup checklist. Runway 07 center is confirmed. TCAS set to Tara, and with that we are going to switch on the landing lights and the strobes, and we are going to line up. I was under the impression that the weather radar is going to come to FS 2024, but as it turns out, it's not. Clear left, clear right. And as I mentioned earlier, I couldn't get it to work even in Asobo's, or rather any build's A330. But others have been able to get it to work, which means it's probably just a bug. Okay, let's start the clock and let's go. 50%. Manflex 68 SRS runway, auto thrust blue. .100 knots. V1 rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Man, this is fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic. The way that Fenix have done this aircraft is just unbelievable. Even just the control sensitivity is just insane. Really controllable in my opinion compared to other aircrafts, which sometimes appear jerky. Set climb thrust, and we are going to just switch on the autopilot for a moment so we can marvel at the views down here. The photogrammetry is not always as good. It looks good from far out, but sometimes it gives you things like this when you are close by. A couple of handcrafted buildings in Frankfurt over there, but then the rest is just ridiculous. What the hell is that? Anyway, let's keep flying. Really good. I'm going to switch off the autopilot for a bit here and just do some hand flying. So 4,000 feet, autopilot off.
We recommend keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you
Flaps 0.
toilets are located at each end of the cabin.
Spoilers disarm.
Not permitted at any time.
We of course have a right hand turn coming up.
Offering you the chance to choose from our fresh selection.
Let's see how the ailerons respond. This is so good. Much easier to follow the flight director in this aircraft. $220 knots, of course, by Delta Foxtrot 150. And the aircraft is following that rather nicely as well. So far so good. We are going to continue our climb to 370. So let's keep going. Passing transition level, altimeter set to standard, and we are accelerating, of course. You can see there that the photogrammetry is also looking strange, but when you look at it like this, it doesn't look so bad. So, you know, really can't have it all with a simulator of this scale. 250 knots below 10,000 feet. Then we have another left-hand turn coming up, of course. We are still hand flying. and we are accelerating now that we are past 10,000 feet. We can switch off the landing gear as well and the seatbelt sign. And with that, I think that's enough hand flying. We can switch on the autopilot. Can we get a shortcut? We can probably go direct to Harem. So direct Harem is probably going to be a worthwhile shortcut. Seven minutes of flight time so far, and I think for now we should just sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of our flight to Dubrovnik, and I will see you at our approach briefing. Okay, here we are. We are a couple of miles out from our top of descent, and it is time to do our approach briefing. Don't the clouds just look fantastic in the new simulator? Look a little bit more realistic than the ones we had in FS 2020. Okay, so let's get our tablet over here and let's have a look at our arrival. We said that we are going to arrive on the Nera 2 Zulu for ILS Zulu runway 11, right? ILS Zulu runway 11. It does have a 14 knot crosswind at the moment. That has not changed, or at least the winds have not changed. We're going to look at the weather in a moment. So yeah, that is what we have set up at the moment. It is going to be a straight in approach. Okay, so if we look at the chart, we are going in through Nera, and then where is the airport? Going in through Nera, and then we continue DU 601 all the way to Pilot, which is going to be our initial approach fix. So then our initial target altitude on our descent is going to be 5,000 feet. After peel up, we join then the final approach. So straight into Delta Uniform 402, descending there to 4,000 feet. And then we are going to continue the descent as well, 2,600, which is going to be the initial, which is going to be the altitude which is going to intercept the glide slope. Okay, so enter destination data. We can clear that and go on to the approach performance page. So that category C approach 726 is going to be the minimum descent altitude today, and then we can have a look at the weather information now. So let's see now, arrival META, which we're just going to update. 040 degrees, 15 knots gusting 29 knots. So 040, 15 degrees is going to be the wind, and then cover K conditions there at the moment. Temperature is 12. QNH 1016. That is set. Transition level Let's see, 10,000 feet without ATC, so 100, that is set. So full config landing is going to give us an approach speed of 124 knots. Okay, that is pretty much set. Now we can do our takeoff our landing performance calculation as well while we wait. Arrival performance, if that is going to show up today, refresh the meter and apply it. Landing weight, we're going to take the current weight 53.6, 53.6, and there we have it. Low auto brake is going to be more than enough. Right, 5,000. It's going to be a managed descent as well. Okay, here we are descending to Dubrovnik side stick fault. I don't know what that means. I don't think it's got anything to do. I'm going to switch off the autopilot now. Autopilot off. It didn't make a sound, the chime that it usually does when you disconnect the autopilot. Autopilot back on and recall normal now. It's almost like that error or that ECAM message just disappeared, didn't exist. Okay, so we are above our target altitude, so we're going to use the speed brake for that, because the aircraft is asking for more drag. And then we are almost at the target now. Auto brake low is what we are going to use for our landing today. Okay, so let's just check that the ILS is tuned in the RadNav page. That is 110.1. Let's see on the chart, 110.1 IDU, and a course of 114. It says here 113, but let's leave it at that and see what happens. Got a lot of turbulence going on now here, so we're going to switch on the seatbelt sign. Let's remove the speed brake and see what happens. The clouds in FS 2024 are much more realistic looking than those we had in 2020. I can't wait to fly in an area with a lot of precipitation and rain, so I can see those towering cumulonimbus clouds, and hopefully by then the weather radar will be working as well.
Armrests down and window blinds open. You now need to be seated with your seatbelt fastened, ready for landing. Please help us by handing in any rubbish, newspapers, magazines that you do not want to keep. The toilets are no longer in service. Thank you.
Okay, we are coming up on Nera, 5 miles. And we are coming out of the clouds as well, just breaking out now, and you just have to look at that. We basically have 2 layers of clouds here, which is something you didn't see very often as well in FS 2020. but also just the modeling of the clouds looks a lot better than that cotton candy looking clouds that we got in the FS 2020. Looks really good. Okay, now the aircraft is saying we are still on the profile, despite being quite close, I believe, but it does say that we are going to level off there at 5,000 just before Delta Uniform 402, on which we then continue the descent to 4,000 feet, or 2,600 rather. There is some high terrain in the area, so I think that all of these constraints are of course necessary to keep us safe. Okay, in terms of the weather information, let's just see if there is any change. QNH 1016 is what we had last time. Let's see if that has changed, if this will open today. Let's just update that. QNH 1016, wind is 03018 now. 03018, still gusting as well. 29 knots, so it's going to be a challenging landing ahead of us. Temperature 12 degrees still, and yeah, we had a bit of turbulence, so we kept the seatbelt sign on as well, but we are coming up on 10,000 feet now, and we can switch on the landing lights. Okay, the one thing that really I miss about FS 2020, of course, is the offline textures. As you can see, not very detailed, which is maybe why the performance of the sim so far has been good, because the textures are not very detailed. But I guess we'll see once they open up the marketplace and we are able to download textures for offline, we see whether it's going to look the same or it's going to be a lot more detailed. Passing the transition level, altimeter set QNH 1016, and we have decelerated to 250 knots below 10,000 feet. Okay, we can do the approach checklist now. Do a lot of clicks to get this EFB to work properly, but if you have another device next to you, you can then use the EFB on there. On that one, it's very responsive, because Fenix, of course, has remote access to the EFB. Okay, approach checklist. Parameters are set. QNH 1016, seatbelt sign is on. Minimums are set. Auto brake is set to low. Engine mode selector is going to be normal as required, and approach checklist complete. 5,000 is coming up. We are going to then set 4,000 for the next waypoint as well. We are going to just use the speed brake for a bit.
Cabin crew must now be seated for landing. Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, Captain. The cabin is now secure for landing.
Thank you. We said that, we passed tail up. We're going to go 4,000 feet now. That's what we are going to target there. And then after that, it's going to be 2,600. We have got the approach mode activated as well automatically for some reason. there should be the airport coming up there. We can of course activate the terrain or navigation display, but we are coming up through the water, so we don't really need that. Okay, coming up onto the green dot speed. $4,900. For some reason we stopped now descending, but I believe it's because the aircraft is struggling because of all the wind. Textures here a little bit better. But I guess that is fine. I think in the previous sim we used to get those world updates through the marketplace as well, in order to get a lot more detailed textures, or more accurate scenery rather. But in my experience, that also made the textures a little bit more detailed, like they did with I believe it was World Update New Zealand. Okay, I think now it's time to slow down as well. When we are going to go now, we are past 4,000, so now we have to do 2,600, which is where we are going to accept the glide slope. Right now we can already up the localizer as well. 2,600 by the textures are loading in. Absolutely looking trash there. Looking like trash there. Struggling with photogrammetry. We have the glide slope already, so I might as well just the full approach, and we have glide slope and localizer as well. And we're gonna go flaps 1 now. Okay, we are going to look at the chart to see what is the go around altitude, and it is 4,000 feet. Alright, there is Dubrovnik coming up. 2,600 is coming up as well, but we are on the glide slope already. We are gonna go flaps 2 now, so we can slow down some more. Checked. 7,000 feet. So I'll go around altitude, which is quite, go around is quite likely in this landing conditions. Beautiful approach here into Dubrovnik. I wish that textures were a lot more detailed at this performance, of course. Okay, we can go gear down now. And that should slow us a lot more. Flaps 2. Landing lights can come on now. Flaps 3. Flaps 4. And here we go. Autopilot off. let's see how we can do on this challenging approach manually. A little bit too low. Correcting that.
100 above. 500.
I don't know what is going on, but I think we are gonna have to go around because we are unstable. Okay, Doga. Gear up. Flaps 3. And autopilot, I don't know now. We are actually supposed to follow the go around track, but it's not active on the nav. That is certainly alright. Flaps 2. Okay, so set the heading to that and then autopilot. Flaps 1. Nav. Flaps 0. And we are going to 7,000 feet now. And then after that, maximum 200 knots. Continue, and then we're going to intercept the radial 182 outbound, climbing to 4,000 feet actually. It's supposed to be 4,000 feet, not 7. Where did I get 7,000 feet? Okay. I guess we're going to go 4,000 feet, which is, we have a holding point there. After that, we are just going to attempt again. We're already above 7,000 feet, which is, should be above the terrain. So, fill up 6,200. Okay, so we're gonna go 4,000 feet now, and I think we are just going to go already direct to our ILS. So let's see now if I go to plan and okay, I think Delta Uniform 402 should be fine. Delta Uniform 402 is where we're going to go. Delta Uniform 402 is where we are going. So we're just going to make a turn now. And that will get us back on the ILS. And I think we are going to just speed up here to 250 knots. Up below 10,000 feet. So what are we going to do different this time? I think the aircraft got away from us there because we are not paying so much attention to the glide slope marker, and it just ran away from us, and therefore the approach was no longer stable. This time around we are going to pay a lot more attention. This is going to be a challenging approach, of course, because those winds are just insane. So let's see now what it looks like. 17 knots now. Wow, that is an insane crosswind. Okay, 250 knots, 4,000 feet. Then we make that right-hand turn. I think after we get to this point here, we're going to go 2,600 and then just go direct, instead of going all the way to 402 there. Okay, 2,600 is coming up. We are gonna go flaps 2 as well. And we are turning final. Now I'm hoping that the runway textures and everything on the airport is now fully rendered and downloaded when we passed above it. Gonna be localizer now. And lock star. Okay, that is coming. We are at flaps 2 now. Landing lights and everything is still on. And there we have it. And there's the runway. Speed brake can come up, and the spoilers as well. Okay, so far nice and stable, not too windy. There's the glide slope coming. We're gonna go full approach. At flaps 2, we are already at our final approach speed. Interesting. And it does say that we are too low at the moment. That looks like 3 reds rather, and now we are at 2 reds. I think that's 2 reds, 2 whites, which is to be expected. And there we are, descending on the glide. Okay, we're gonna go gear down. Checked. Flaps 3. Flaps 4. And there we have it. 4,000 is the go around altitude. And this time we're going to have the landing system on here as well. And perhaps it's time to disconnect the autopilot from far out. just going to follow the flight director. So this is where the glide slope appeared to run away from us. Now I'm not sure, because we are still showing 2 red 2 white on the puppies, whether this is one of those cases where the glide slope and the puppies disagree. But let's see, so far so good, both in agreement, puppies and glide slope. That crosswind is absolutely insane.
Four. 300. Minimum.
Okay, I think we are okay now.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 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 Retard.
Nah,
Retard.
absolutely unstable now. Second go around. Gear up. And flaps 3. This time around, we are just going directly to our ILS point, because we are flying over the water in any case, so that should be okay. Flaps 2. Flaps 1. $4,000 coming up. Flaps 0. Okay, this is turning out to be a rather challenging one. Hopefully, third time is going to be the charm. Okay. Flaps 1. And there we have it. Okay, that looks like it's going to draw the same path. Flaps 2. And there we have the glide slope as well. We're gonna go lock. Glide slope is coming as well. 2,600, slowing down the F speed. Nothing on the localizer yet. The glide slope is coming, of course, but we want to intercept the localizer first before the glide slope. Any moment now. And there we have it, and we're gonna go approach now. Okay, we are flaps 2. We are gonna go gear down.
2,500.
Third time's going to be the charm. Flaps 3. Flaps 4. We are descending on the glide. Go around altitude 4,000. First time landing here, of course, in the A319 in these windy conditions. But I'm sure this is just as challenging in real life landing system. Everything is still on, so autopilot off. Every time I switch off the autopilot, it looks like the radar trim gets removed. Checked. Okay, still stable on the approach. Land, and now we are being blown off course. Trying to stay. No readouts, huh?
5.
There we go. Third time's the charm. Full reversers, diesel. 80 knots, 60 knots. We'll try to make that exit there on our right hand side. Okay, let's keep going.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cabin crew
Okay.
will shortly be leaving their seats to perform
There we go.
safety-related duties. However, we ask that you remain seated until the
Okay,
Checking in the seat pocket.
we
underneath
are
the
clear
seat,
of the
and in
runway.
overhead
Landing
locker.
lights off, taxi
Do
lights
take
on.
care opening the
APU
overhead
master.
lockers as items may have moved during flight.
APU
Smoking
start.
is not permitted until you
Clear
reach
left
a
side,
designated
clear
smoking
right
area.
side.
On behalf of the captain and the crew, it has been our pleasure looking after you today. Our ground crew will help you complete your journey.
Okay, now we have to pick a stand. We can just pick this one next to us, stand number 10. Strobe lights can come off. All the lights can come off now, turning into the stand. Gate number 10 is what we are going to choose. Just show me the spot and activate. That is gate number 10. Okay, straight in, a little bit to the left. Okay, we are parked. Alright, we can do the parking checklist now before we switch off the engines. If this is going to show up today. Parking brakes are on there. Actually, after landing checklist, we need to switch off the weather radar, and TCAS can go to TA as well. Flaps are up, spoilers are disarmed, APU started, APU bleed can start. And with that, we are pretty much good to go. So switch off the engines, engine number 2 and engine number 1 off. Welcome to Dubrovnik, Croatia.
Cabin crew disarm doors.
Okay, that was a nice flight. Very nice scenery in Frankfurt, very nice scenery in Dubrovnik as well. Challenging landing today with all of that crosswind, but we managed it on a 3rd attempt. Okay, parking checklist. Parking brakes or chocks. Let's see if we have chocks in place, then we can release the parking brakes. If this is going to work today, let's toggle the chocks. There, GPU is there as well. So chocks in place, parking brakes can come off, GPU is on there as well, ground control can come, and we can actually start deboarding the passengers. Let's just check if there's anything else here. Engines are off, wing light also needs to come off. And then here we are. Okay, so beacon light off and seatbelt sign off as well. Fuel pumps can come off. And with that, we are pretty much ready to deboard our passengers. Usually with the integration of Fenix and GSX, the deboarding is started automatically once you switch off
The boarding requested.
once you switch off the beacon light, but I've seen in a couple of flights that the deboarding no longer started automatically, so I guess that is okay. Cargo doors, we're just going to open both of them as well. And then we are going to read our arrival message. Forgot to stop the clock there. AOC menu messages arrival. Arrived at 14:58 Zulu. So that is fine. A little bit delayed by having to go around twice, but safe landing is our priority. Okay. I think everything is in order. Then we can have a look at the deboarding process outside. GSX, of course, doing the
Passengers, the boarding
deboarding
starting.
today. I have to say that the Fenix aircrafts are just so good. It's really difficult to
Ladies
fly
and
anything
gentlemen,
else.
When disembarking, please take care and hold on to the
I
handrails
really wish they would
while
develop
walking down the stairs. Please ensure
more
that you
Airbus
supervise your
aircrafts.
children, and for your own
So
safety, do not walk underneath the wing.
yeah, then let's just step outside and have a look at the deboarding process. This is custom scenery, of course, for Dubrovnik. It is Payware scenery, and I have to say it's looking really good. It is a small airport, a couple of jetways, but other than that, I think this was a nice choice of flight today. Probably would have been a nice approach from the other side. But of course we can always do a different another flight different day when they are using the other side of the runway, and then we can check out the scenery from the other side. Okay, passengers are deboarding, going through the jetway there. As you can see, sun is setting over Dubrovnik. Cargo is already offloaded. I think there is nothing much to see, so I'm going to end the video here. I hope you enjoyed it. A couple of go-arounds today, but it was really challenging on that approach, but I'm glad that we made it without having to go to our alternate airport, otherwise the passengers were going pissed. Flight Sim 2024 is coming along nicely. This is of course Payware scenery. The textures, maybe not good judgment on the landing today because we had to go around twice. So the sim had a couple of chances to preload the textures. But other than that, this is possibly the best flight I've had in FS 2024 so far. And looking forward to them opening up the marketplace so that we can have offline textures, and I'm looking forward to flying other aircraft as well. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you in the next flight, FS 2024.